Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another masterclass that we're having today. I'm Shamisha. I work here in the marketing department with Showit, and we are so happy to have our guest speaker and presenter, Jasmine Star, with us today. Let's just go over a few details as people are popping in the chat. I want to know, what is the next thing you're launching? Is it a course? Is it a product? Put it here in the chat so we can talk a little bit about that. But let's go over the ground rules. We are recording live, so sometimes there might be hiccups on your end. Just refresh that screen and come right on back to that YouTube link. And we are recording this, so you will be able to go back and re-listen to everything that Jasmine is presenting today, because I'm sure she's going to bring a lot, and you're going to have to rewatch it. At the same time, we're going to be doing a Q&A at the end. So as we're going through the masterclass, if you have questions, put them right here in the chat, and we will be sure to do a question Q&A at the end. But other than that, let's get started. I am super happy to welcome Jasmine Star. She is the CEO of Social Curator. She has spoken on many of Showit's stages. She's a great business strategist and just someone that you want on your side. So please help me welcome Jasmine Star.
Thank you, Shamisha, and thank you guys so much. I see the chat lighting up, and I'm so excited. You know, the only thing missing right now in true Showit form is a hug. So it's like, if you're watching, leave in the chat hug, because it is not a Showit party unless everybody's hugging. So yes. We should probably start there. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to dive right in, if that is cool with you. Everybody, are we on board? We're ready to go. Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I was still waiting, that dead air. I was waiting for my hug, Shamisha. I thought you were going to hug me. Okay, let's get started with doubling your revenue in 60 days with a proven launch plan. So this class is for you if you have something to offer online that somebody can invest in. And this class is for you if you want a proven system to get sales online. And this class is for you if you're ready to try a new sales process. And this class is for you if you want a step-by-step plan. My name is Jasmine Star, and I launched my very first course. It was an Instagram for Business course for $197. And in 7 days, I made $255,000, which sounds crazy, but I'm going to explain exactly how I made that happen. And in the past 9 years, I've gone on to launch 27 times, and I've made over $23 million in launch revenue alone. I am a creator, a podcaster, and a speaker, and I have taught marketing and sales to thousands of business owners. I am also the CEO of Social Curator, a social media marketing agency in your pocket, and we have empowered over 35 business owners in the last 6 years. I also want to take a quick second, and I don't want to humble brag, but your girl had the very first Showit website ever to be created. In fact, Shamisha reminded you, you are our test website. Yes, I was. I am the Showit day one girl, but it didn't happen overnight. Me building a business, me building my very first website, me venturing out to get sales, it didn't happen overnight because I was unfunded, uneducated, unqualified, and unconnected. But then a crazy thing happened. I started learning a mechanism that took my business from 6 figures to 7 figures in less than a year. So here's what you can expect from this class. You're going to know what to do to double your revenue with your biggest launch ever. So what is a launch? A launch is a marketing word for selling with a specific sales strategy during a defined period of time. This is not, oh, I hope people are going to find me and book me online. No, we have a sales strategy. So did you launch a course and you made $5,000? After this class, let's make that $10,000 the next time you launch. Did you bring in 15 people into your membership? Fantastic. Let's bring 30 people the next time. Let's say you made $25,000 during a Black Friday sale. After this class, we're going to make it 50. Now, if you're here and you're just barely getting things off the ground, fantastic. Let's build a foundation together. The story starts for me in 2005. I was at UCLA Law School. I was there on a full ride scholarship. Now, I am the first in my family to go to college, and I am the first in my family to pursue a postgraduate degree. My father is from Mexico, and my mother is from Puerto Rico, and I grew up in very, very humble beginnings. My dad is one of the hardest working men that I know, so he taught me the value of hard work. So I just thought being in law school, it's just a lot of hard work. But everything changed when my mom had a relapse of brain cancer in 2005. I will never forget being in law school, and it was New Year's Eve, and my family, my dad and his 5 children, walked into the ICU ward at USC Norris Hospital. And we weren't supposed to be there because it was after visiting hours. And the nurse looked at us and she kind of just nodded and she let us go in. And surrounding my mom's bed, I put her hand in mine. And the thing that my mother was talking about was not the things that she had done. She was talking about the things that she hadn't done. There are two types of regret. There is the regret of the things that you did, and there was the regret of the things you had not done. My mother had never ridden on a first class plane ride. She had never visited Austria, and she never wrote the book that she always wanted to write for children. And so then I was there at that bed, and I decided I didn't want to get to the end of my life and live with the regrets of not doing things. So I talked to my brand new husband. We had just gotten married, and he said, if you could do one thing for the rest of your life, what would it be? And I told him, I want to be a photographer. And he's like, okay, but you don't own a camera. I know, but if I had a camera, things would totally change. So then that Christmas, he went to Best Buy and bought me a camera. Was I officially a photographer? Not by any stretch of the means. I was a hobbyist. I had a hobby because I had yet to get paid. But then in 2007, something changes, and I say, I'm going to give myself 1 year to make this business work. But I didn't have a lot of money for a website. So I started off my entire career with a blog. And I said, if you can be consistent with a blog, then you can afford to get your very first website. So I started just posting photos on a blog, hoping that somebody would find me. And then by 2008, things radically changed for me. Other photographers started asking questions based on, like, I was blogging and I was putting information out and I was sharing my journey. Was I the best photographer to ever live? No, but people were still interested. Why? I was creating human to human connection. And then all of a sudden in 2009, after photographers kept on asking me, how are you doing that thing that you're doing? They said, we want to join you. I want to see it behind the scenes. So this was the first time in my career where I thought, is there a way that I could stop so much traveling that we're doing for the business? Because in 2008, the business took off. My husband and I were working together. We were traveling the world. I was speaking, I was teaching, and I thought to myself, I'm trading dollars for hours. Could I create something that somebody could buy online? So I started posting videos for $2.99. And I thought to myself, okay, if you can keep on adding another video, keep on editing another video, keep on adding with the hope that somehow this was going to have a radical transformation. But the real moment actually is that I was exhausted. I told my husband, it feels like every wedding I shoot, every place that I speak, every video I create, every blog post that I write, every update to my website, it felt like I was taking a pail and one more pail of water and one more pail of water. And what I really wanted was a pipeline of water, a steady stream of revenue and clients and interest. And I was nowhere near that. By 2010, what you're looking at was a website. And if you look at this right here, could you even know, if I didn't point it out, that I had an online store, that I had a place that you could buy? I was creating digital resources for photographers, and I kept on saying, one more video, one more PDF, one more something. By 2014, after years of continuously taking bucket of water and bucket of water, our photography revenue was $175,000, and our photography digital resource revenue was $100,000. By 2014, I was so exhausted. I looked at my husband and my business partner. I said, I can't keep on doing this like this. I was exhausted. I was overwhelmed, and I felt like I was sprinting in place. In the chat, can you let me know if you have ever experienced this? If you know this feeling, just write yes. Because I want to know that what I was feeling at that time, I wish somebody had said, you're not alone, kid. And what I'm telling you, if you just typed in yes, you're not alone. But things had to change because I started asking myself questions like, what do I do next? Why can't I make 7 figures? Why is it elusive? Why am I always stuck here? And then I had a realization. I had a business online. I did not have an online business. So, what's a business online? A business online means that you have a website and somebody can buy something from you. Congrats, you have a business online. But what is an online business? An online business is a mechanism to get attention, to build trust, to create a conversion and have somebody buy right there and then. It is an entire ecosystem that works for you while you are working instead of saying, gotta do this thing, gotta do that thing, another shiny thing, another reel. Are we on TikTok? Are we not on TikTok? Should I be on LinkedIn? That? Mm-mm. The realization I had was when I learned a system, not just for selling my online offerings, but for launching them, my business went from 6 figures to 7 figures. And then I started helping other people do the same thing. I want to introduce you to Angie. She's a branding photographer and editor, and she is very active in the Showit community. We all love this woman. She said after we engaged and I was teaching her this launching mechanism that she had generated $31,000 in revenue with no ads. Here's Barbara. She is a consultant. And after meeting and talking about our launch revenue, she had said, Jasmine, I 4x'd my revenue in 1 year. Just imagine, take what you're making right now and multiply it by 4. She was making launch revenue. She emailed me 4 days ago and said, Jasmine, I'm moving my family to Spain for 3 months. I'm going to work from Europe and I'm going to tour my kids around. Wow. There's Denisha. She took 2 of her lowest performing services, revamped them, and increased her revenue by 69%. So my question to you, Showit community, is if you are ready to see similar results. Now, you know you're ready for these results when you're worried you're going to launch a new sales system and then you're going to get the same results you've always gotten, no matter how hard you work. Now you know you're ready. You know you're ready when you're scared of trying a new launching system and having no idea how much revenue it's going to bring in. You know you're ready for this training because you want to launch, but you're lacking the confidence in exactly what to do and how to do it. And maybe you're even thinking things like, I have tried so many plans, strategies, hacks. I've come to every Showit training and nothing's worked. It works for them. It won't work for me. I don't trust myself. How do I know that I'm doing the right thing at the right time? I don't know how to sell my offer. I'm not sure anybody can help me sell. I don't know if you felt that way, but I am telling you, these were the exact words that I was saying over my life. And they were all lies. I now see that the version of who I was choosing to believe a lie because it kept me small. I don't think it's because you don't know enough. I don't think it's because your offer isn't good enough. I don't think it's because you're not good enough. I just think that the thing that stops us is the lies that we believe to keep us safe and small and not put ourselves out there. So if we start there and say, you know what, Jasmine, a little bit of those lies that you said to yourself, I'm saying to myself, good. Because the framework that I'm about to share with you has been exactly what I've been using to scale my revenue and yours. This will help you grow your business. But in order for us to do this, I need to be upfront. If you want this outcome, then you're going to need to take action on what I'm about to share. I don't want you just taking notes. Here's a couple things that I've learned. I mentioned CEO of Social Curator. We've empowered over 35,000 people through our program. And I am telling you that I have seen that there are 2 types of entrepreneurs. There are the action takers. These are the people that believe that results come from taking imperfect action. Just get it done. These are the people who say every day, I'm going to do a little bit. And every day, even if it doesn't feel like a win, I'm going to say, I learned something and I'm better. These are the people that prefer success over comfort. When I am uncomfortable, I'm growing. Now, there's a second type of an entrepreneur, and that's an observer. This is the type of person who says, I just need a little bit more time to learn more. You see, if I know more about running a business, then I'll be able to run a business. When I know more, when I watch these 27 videos on YouTube, and when I watch 87 podcasts, and when I read these 14 books, then I'm going to start my business. But what happens is that you're preferring to stay in that safe zone than putting yourself out and taking a risk. But without risk, there is no reward. And without no reward, friends, it's very hard to define your success. So my question to you is, are you an action taker? Or are you an observer? Because if you're an action taker, at this point, if you have not tuned away from this training, what you're conveying to me is, Jasmine, I might have been an observer yesterday, but today I'm an action taker. Good. Because I'm about to share exactly how to launch your offer, double your revenue, and get the results that you want. So now, folks, ladies and gentlemen, you can't say you didn't know if you didn't know, because now you know. Here are the 4 steps to your biggest launch ever. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share the high view, and then we're gonna break these down one by one. So we're sticking with this. Number 1 is your successful messaging framework. Number 2 is your high value masterclass. Number 3 is your profitable sales page. And number 4 is your conversion driven emails. Now let's break this down one by one, starting with your successful messaging framework. Now remember, what you're looking at is 2015. What I sold online, there was like a button. There was like a buy button. But this was the thing that kept me sprinting on the treadmill. This was the thing that's like one bucket of water at a time, one more video, one more thing to do, hoping that people would just magically start paying attention. But when I learned not just to sell, but to launch, remember, launching is a specific sales strategy in a defined period of time. That's when things really took off for me. But the issue was, I had never launched before. I had heard this word, kind of, sort of, but I had never done it. And I didn't have the time or the bandwidth or the energy to actually figure out the system. So what I did was simply say, Jasmine, you have made an online offer before. You have an online store, and it's doing fair to middling, all things considered. What I decided to do was to create an online course for $197. But this time I was going to focus on something different. I was going to focus on key messaging to increase conversions. I said, before I had this store, and it's like, hey, anybody who in photography, this is for you. Was it really? What words was I saying? What was I using to draw people in? So what I decided to do was I said, I'm going to create a course with somebody very specific in mind. So in 2 months, I decided to say, I'm going all in. So what did I focus on to create a successful messaging framework? Number 1, I had to focus on who was buying. If you're a photographer, you're not selling your photos to everybody who has a credit card. You are a specific type of photographer with a specific type of client. If you're a graphic designer, you don't want to sell what you do, your services, your templates to everybody. And you might be saying, yes, I do. No, you don't. Because when you become everything to everyone, you're truly forgettable. If you want to be unforgettable, you must say, this is who I serve and this is who the best that I'm going to serve. And it takes a lot of guts and chutzpah to do that. But when you know who you're serving, you can then go into part number 2, which is to understand their deepest desires. What does your dream customer really want? Not they want a website, they want photos. No, what do they really want? A peaceful experience during family photos. What do they really want? They want a flawless, very quick, please don't make it grueling for me, graphic design experience. Number 3, identify the biggest struggles. What is getting in the way of people booking your photography services, your graphic design services, your coaching services? What is stopping people from booking at your dental practice? We have to know the words that we're using. In fact, Showit invited you to this training. And they used a very specific set of key words. It is not by luck that you're here. It is by divine timing and successful messaging. I know who you are. Why? I spent a lot of time thinking about you. What you're looking at right here is exactly my thoughts to build this class. I know your desires. You want more sales. You want to know why it's been so slow. You want to launch bigger. You want to know why it's not working. What is getting in your way? What's your struggles? Well, what am I doing wrong? Am I doing it in the right order? How do I actually have a new sales system? I actually don't know what to do next. When I thought about you and I created words around you, I then started to say, I think I can speak to you and say, there is a different way of doing things doubly better. So, this framework, the successful messaging framework, it empowered me to create a foundation because I could talk about my offer, but connect with people in a real way. That's what I want to do right now, right here. So remember, I had years and years and years of this online store trying to sell things, trying to get people interested. I opened the doors to Insta 180 for 7 days and I made $255,000. That course changed my life. I am the daughter of an immigrant. My father is from Mexico. My mother's from Puerto Rico. My dad was one of the hardest working people I have ever met in my entire life, working sometimes 4 jobs. And never in my entire life, my father, who had a family of 7, did he ever make over $100,000 in a year. So just imagine what happens when I look a week, 7 days to $255,000. And then I asked myself, could we do it again? I continued launching Insta 180 every 3 or 4 months. In 12 months, I brought in a brand new revenue stream of $1 million in less than 1 year off a product that was selling for $197. I am not unique. I am not special. I am not lucky. I understood who I was speaking to, what they wanted, and what they struggle with. So, this multi-million dollar framework that I just shared that you could absolutely do is what I used then, and it is what I use today. Because when you speak to somebody's greatest desires and you speak to their greatest struggles, and then you give them a solution, I will save you time, I will save you money, you get there faster, I have been there, I know the struggle. When you do all of those things, people begin to trust you. But it just doesn't happen overnight. What do you need to do to build these connections? You must share everything you know. When you think, oh, what I know isn't all that special, it's special to the person who needs to hear what you have to say in the way you have to say it. You know more about dental, you know more about photography, you know more about graphic design, you know more about coaching, you know more entrepreneurship than the person who's going to buy from you. So you must share it. I feel so compelled because I was sharing my conviction about successful brand messaging with Brianna. Now, she is a travel designer and a consultant, and she has a membership for travel designers. And she came to me and she says, okay, I have my launch coming up. I'm going to do my biggest launch ever, and I'm going to do it with this number. And I looked at her and I said, great, let's double it. And she was like, that's crazy. So great, let's do crazy things. And she ended up doubling their membership in their most recent launch. Now we're going to go into step number 2, which is your high value masterclass. Now, a masterclass is the best way to build expertise, to show credibility, and build trust. That is exactly what I am doing right now. I'm having a conversation. A masterclass could be recorded or it could be live. Now, in 2016, I launched my second course, The Path to Profitability. In 2015, my first course, Insta 180, and then a year later, my second course, The Path to Profitability. Now, during my first course, I learned that a masterclass was the best way to speak to my ideal client. During my second course, I wanted to know if I could teach a masterclass that converted to even higher sales. I said, that was a process that worked. Can I tweak one thing to see if I can get better? Now, I hired a consultant for $10,000 to teach me. Number one, I am not saying you should be hiring a consultant for $10,000. I am saying I made this decision to reinvest back in my business to learn ways to get better. And I will never forget, it was on a Zoom call, and he's from the great state of Texas, and the fear of God was instilled in me when he said, why are you doing this? Why are you saying it this way? This is just too overwhelming. And I sat there and I was like, oh my God, I'm doing it wrong. But instead of you hiring a consultant for $10,000, let me share with you the 3 things, the most important things to include in your high value masterclass. Remember, it could be recorded, it could be live. This is an experiment for you to say, I'm going to start building trust with people. I want to start getting more leads and more attention so that then they book me. Number 1, what is the promise of what you want to teach people? Basically, what he said was, what are they going to learn from this class? Tell me. And so you came to this class, and the promise is double your revenue in 60 days with the proven plan. Now, if I was a fitness coach, I would teach a class on how to lose belly fat. That's the promise. The second most important thing is, what's the transformation? He was asking me, well, what is the before and after of these people? Okay, well, you came to this class and maybe you didn't know the exact 4 steps to launching, and after, now you do. If I was a fitness coach, well, before, people didn't know how to count macros, and now they do. Okay. The third thing that include in a masterclass is show the what, not how. Show how counting macros can help with weight loss, but you don't need to show the exact details. So once I understood that there was a specific masterclass framework to get more conversions, my launches got even bigger. My first course, Insta 180, that I launched was $255,000 the first time I launched it. The second course that I launched, The Path of Profitability, I made $350,000 on the first launch. So I want to make sure that we're understanding what's happening here. The first launch, I used a successful messaging framework and I made $255,000 in 7 days. And then the second launch, using the successful messaging framework and the masterclass framework, I made $350,000. We're making small tweaks to really get a heck of a lot better. So let's say you're watching right now and you're an Etsy store owner, or maybe you're somebody who sells products and you're like, what would I ever teach about? Well, if your Etsy store is selling home decor, imagine on your Etsy store, you could say, here's everything that sells in my Etsy store. Or would you like to see a 20-minute training on how to decorate your mantle for the holidays? And it's around the holidays, like October, November. And then all of a sudden, somebody's coming in and they're watching what's going on. And they get to see, I love the way that this person styles their products. Now, that customer can shop from anybody else. But because they watched a class, a training, once they got better, once they were educated, they want to buy from your shop specifically. Now, let's say that you are a coach, or let's say you're a wedding photographer. You're anybody who books clients online. Your competition is doing all of the same thing. I'm on social media, I'm pointing, I'm showing before and afters of my wedding photography, before and afters of baby photography. Everybody's doing the same thing. But what if somebody happened to be looking for something that you could teach them? How to take better family photos. Here's a 15-minute training, and then I'll get super specific. If I was a Montana-based wedding photographer, and be like, do you want to take fun, fresh, and amazing family photos with less stress and overwhelm? Watch my training. And it's like 15 or 20 minutes. And what are you doing? You're flashing your photography and saying, you want to make sure that your family photography is pre-scheduled, have the location already ready. You're teaching something that you know so naturally, and you're educating somebody, and someone's like, wow, look at how great these photos are. Wow, I know how to have better family photos. Of all the other competition that they're looking at, there's something about you. Why? You gave them something in a different way than anybody else. If you're a boutique owner, a physical location, well, then you can create a training. What body type do you have? Am I an apple, banana, pear? Now we're preparing for Easter and you want an Easter outfit. Here's how you would style these outfits. Send me an email, drop in the chat, send me an Instagram direct message, and we'll give you a link on how to buy these outfits and dress perfectly for your shape. What are you doing? You're creating a way to get people to build trust. So I want you to journal on these questions. What are 3 key tips you could give a client? Create a training. 2, what how-to could I teach to showcase my offer to make it irresistible for somebody to buy? Journal. Example. What are 3 key tips that you can give a client? If you're a wedding photographer, the perfect sunset photo plan, like the perfect plan for sunset photos on a wedding day. I'm going to guarantee perfect prep photos on a wedding day. And you're showing your prep photos and you're giving tips. Keep family photos fun and stress-free. Maybe I'm a weight loss coach and I want more people into my group coaching program. Well, what if my group coaching program was to lose weight on a keto diet? I can give a training, 3 ways to eat keto on a budget. That way, if somebody is looking for keto, if somebody's looking for group coaching, if somebody is looking for something and I gave them something that was different than any of my competition, that built trust, that educated them, that made them feel really empowered to make a decision, game over. Game over. Your leads and sales become very different. Let's move on to the 3rd step, which is your profitable sales page. Now, here's the thing that I don't want anybody to get stuck on. Shamisha and I are going to go into Q&A. I am here to serve. I'm here to brainstorm and ideate. So we're going to get to all of this. But before we get there, step number 3 was a profitable sales page. When I saw how big of an impact changing the structure of the masterclass was, I began to look at other places of my launch. Why? I want to ABB, always be better. As business owners, what do we want to do? ABB, always be better. So I said, what way can I get better? Well, I looked at my sales page, basically my website, the website that I was going to use to sell things. And here was like a big mistake that I had. I had everything mixed together. If I had a Showit website that showcased the things I sold, I could speak to that client very differently than I would a different set of clients who wasn't there to buy my digital resources, AKA two Showit websites. But how would I structure all of this? Well, I enrolled in 2 copywriting workshops. Each of them were $10,000. I'm not saying that you should spend $10,000 on copywriting workshops, but I'm going to share with you what I learned. In Nashville, I learned about incorporating story and personal connection. And then I went to San Diego, spent another $10,000, and I learned about conversion optimization. Now, one thing that your sales page, AKA your website, one thing that your website shouldn't really be is all these reasons to buy. No, that's what your competition's doing. The best sales pages are carefully craftimized. I said it, the same craftimized. The best sales pages are carefully crafted to optimize conversion, the sale. If you're getting people to land on your website and they're bouncing off, it wasn't carefully crafted for that sale. So here are the top 3 ways to do that on your sales page. Number 1, get specific with who you're selling to. This goes back to the successful messaging framework, but it is okay for you to say, these are the types of people I work with in my graphic design agency. These are the types of people who I want to book as clients. It's okay to say that, because once people know exactly who you're for, they go through your website and they think, oh, this person's speaking right to me. Perfect. Because then your sales page should openly address objections. What are the reasons why people wouldn't buy your photography, your graphic design, your coaching, your X? Why wouldn't they buy that? State it on your website in a section that says you probably might not have enough time. You're debating about whether or not it's the right investment for you. You might be thinking, is this really going to work for me? Put them front facing. Why? Because the more that you're in that client's head, the more that they trust you, the more that they think, you know what? I think this is actually what I need. And then the third way to optimize your sales page is to get your readers to say yes after every section. So what I suggest, we're all very familiar with Showit. Hey, now what you'll see on your website is most of the time, you're going to see how it changes in its format. It changes with the typography. Maybe the colors change, the photos change, and that signals a change in direction of the page. If you were to cover the top and the bottom section of that middle section and just read it, you should say, yes. Come down, cover that section and cover the one below. You read that section and say yes. When you can look at every section of your website and say yes, that means that when a person's going through it, yes, 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 yes. So by the time they get to the place for them to book your service, to buy what it is you're selling, what are they saying? Yes. So in 2017, I launched a membership and I built a sales page using the tools that I learned. Now, I spoke with my husband and my business partner, and our dream was to get 500 new members on this membership. In fact, I called up my good friend, Todd Watson, the CEO of Showit, and I said, hey, Todd, I have this crazy idea. I want to build a membership, but I don't know if it's going to work. And he's like, why not? Try it. That is the exact CEO, the type of CEO who you want running your website company. Why not? Try it. So what did I do? I implemented the things that I learned in my copywriting workshops, who this specifically was for. I openly objections, and then I got everybody to say yes, yes, yes. Great. So what happened? We launched and we didn't get 500 new members. We launched and 5 days later, we had 2,444 new members. That blew my mind. And when I started understanding the power of a sales page and I talked to other entrepreneurs about using these conversion mechanisms, you get big results. I want to introduce you to Haley. She is a real estate marketing agency owner. And she said, Jasmine, I'm going to use this and I'm going to double my launch. And she didn't double her launch. She said, I nearly tripled my membership in my most recent launch. So what I want to do is I want to know how effective is your messaging drawing in your perfect audience. When you look at your leads, when you look at your deal flow, when you look at people who are submitting like interest forms, are you like, perfect? I want to know, how effective are you at creating a piece of content for somebody to know you, like you, convert with you, and choose you over your competition? That piece of content, that masterclass, how effective are you at doing that? Are you doing that? What I want to know is, how effective is your sales page? How effective is your website? If you're getting a big bounce rate, we got to talk about that. You can absolutely make changes to your website in seconds with Showit. That's got to change. So right now, I'm going to get to step number 4. Step number 1 is a successful messaging framework. Step number 2 is your high value masterclass. And step number 3 is a profitable sales page. But now, as we get into step number 4, this is conversion driven emails. Now, I want to be very cautious here. I want people to look at this, and I only want you to see opportunity. I only want you to see abundance. I only want your mind to be blown with what this untapped potential is. I do not want you getting overwhelmed. Because when somebody asked me, so do you have a conversion driven email funnel? I was like, I don't even know what those words mean. What did you even just say? But I want to tell you, don't worry. Most people have an email newsletter. If you don't have an email newsletter, guess what? More abundance is going to come your way. If you have an email newsletter and you want more people coming to it, don't worry. Abundance is coming your way. Why? I had an email newsletter and I would send it once a week. And I would be like, here's an update or here's a promotion. This is the thing that kept me carrying buckets of water again and again without a strategy. So I hired a $20,000 consultant to teach me the best way to structure my email funnel. I am not saying you need to hire a $20,000 person to help you do this. Here's why. Once I understood that I had a funnel for my online store, I had a funnel for my course number 1, I had a funnel for course number 2, I had a funnel for my membership. I was like, I have to write a bunch of emails for each of these funnels. So then I hired a copywriter to help me. I said, help me lift the load. And I paid that copywriter $15,000. I am not saying you need to pay $15,000 for a copywriter. Once I knew the structure of the email funnel, and once I had all of the words written, I then hired another consultant for $10,000 to build action-based funnels. Here's where the magic happens. An action-based funnel is communication that changes where your customer is on their journey. So for example, Showit sent you an invite and they said, hey, come to this live training with Jasmine. You signed up and you're here watching live. That means you're going to get a special email that says, thanks for showing up live. We're going to send you a little thank you something something. Now, there's other people who signed up and then they took a different action. They're going to get a different email that says, we're so sorry you missed the class, but we're working on the replay now. Every email thereafter, depending who opens it, who reads it, and who clicks, that is called an action-based email funnel. In fact, I got to sit with your CEO, Todd Watson, in Arizona like 2 months ago, and we were geeking about email funnels because he uses ConvertKit, and he's just like, this is what we use. ConvertKit on the inside of Showit, this is how we communicate. And I was like, I love this. So if you are sitting here and you're thinking, oh, abundance, oh, opportunity, oh, deal flow, great. So number 1 that we're going to focus on for our conversion-based email funnels, because if you don't have it today, we're going to start working on building that in the future. Yes and amen. Number 1, action-based funnels. Follow the customer each step of the way. Number 2 is to use compelling stories to humanize the offer. When I am sending an email, I'm making an offer because Rory Vaden said it best. He said, you are most qualified to serve the person you once were. When I send an email, I put myself in the shoes of me launching Insta 180. I felt alone. I didn't know what to do, and I felt like I was doing things wrong. When I launched the path to profitability, I said, you're getting a little bit better, but girl, you have a long way to go. And I kept on beating myself up. When I write newsletters now, I speak to that person. Number 3, solution-based copy. When you're making an offer, it's not saying, hey, it's time to book your family photos. It's Christmas time. No. Solution. We know you want to build Christmas cards. We know you want to have an enjoyable experience. We know you want to get them fun, fast, and fresh because your partner is not about the family photos. Solution. When you offer solutions, people are more inclined to buy. When we built out this funnel, by 2018, we were consistently producing launches, each of them over $1 million every single time. In fact, we believe in this funnel and messaging and action so much that when I was able to talk with Jera, coaching her through my mastermind, she's an educator, she's a speaker and a coach. She said, Jasmine, I am going to be launching a brand new course and I'm a little bit nervous about it. So I want to launch it as a test with a beta. She's like, I want to test it with 40 people. So she put together an email sequence and she said 5 days to get 40 people. And lo and behold, her messaging was so right, her funnel was so rich that she booked all 40 seats in 5 hours. From 5 days to 5 hours on the effectiveness of knowing where people were in their journey. So in review, step number 1 of doubling your revenue was to have a successful messaging framework. Step number 2 is your high value masterclass. Step number 3 is your profitable sales page. And step number 4 is your conversion driven emails. I have used this sales system for low ticket offers, $25. I have used this sales system for high ticket offers for $25,000 for one ticket. And I have taught other people how to do this for courses, memberships, subscriptions, masterminds, physical products, VIP days. The method works because so few people are doing it. But there is a moment of real talk. It didn't happen overnight. It took me 9 years to refine these steps. And in those 9 years, I launched 27 times. This is my 28th launch. And I just kept on learning lessons. And I kept on saying, I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to learn from this. And I'm going to get better. Do I think that these 4 steps are perfect? No. But I think that they're pretty darn close because I consistently focused on getting better, which is why I felt confident and very thankful to Showit that allows me to come and teach this to you. So we're at this point in the conversation where I'm teaching and people are like, whoa, there is a different way of getting sales and a steady stream of clients. Yes, but now you have 2 choices. You can continue being an observer, doing what you're doing right now. Or option number 2, you can take action with a proven plan and get a fast path to getting results. And you don't have to spend 9 years of trial and error. Because if you want to start taking action, I want to show you exactly how you're going to do it. And the good news is that it's easier than you think. In fact, you don't need to spend 9 years figuring it out. You don't need to invest thousands of dollars to learn all the things and all the consultants. And you're like, Jasmine spent how much in consultants? I know. But I did it because at the time when I first started launching, I didn't have the size of audience that I have now. I had to take what I had and make it work. So I now can speak with direct impact that your next launch is possible with less stress and less overwhelm and less time, and you make more money. It is possible because I've done it 27 times. And then when I teach other people, they're like, my mind is blown. Remember how in the beginning of the class, I introduced you to Brianna? She was that travel consultant. Well, what we see is she said, I doubled my membership launch. And we're all like, oh, great. Golf clap. Good for her. Awesome. But what we don't see was the real conversation that happened behind the scenes. So with her permission, I'm sharing text messages with you because when I told her we're going to double your biggest number, she said, no, like that's not going to happen. She dwelled in a place of impossibility. And I said, why not try? Why not try to double the biggest number you've ever done? Because even if you just get 1% better, your game is entirely different. And so then she texts me 10 minutes before the doors closed to her membership. And she's like, Jasmine, I'm 2 people away from doubling my launch. She's like, I can't believe it. I said, I'm so proud of you. And then right as the doors were launching, she got 2 people to sign up. She doubled her launch. But if you were to go back to that person who said, that's impossible, I can't do it, I wonder if you think the same thing. Because one day I want you to tell me it happened the way you said it would. She said, the one thing that Jasmine will do is show up like gangbusters. And I get to say it worked. Yeah. She gets to say it worked because she did the work. She tried a new sales system and she just didn't have her biggest launch ever. She doubled what she thought was going to be her biggest launch ever. And I know that many people, they hear this and what we battle, I battle it for years, is the uncertainty of, I don't want to try something else again. Well, my question for you is what you're doing right now working? Because if it's not, you must change to get change. And if you're uncertain, how about you borrow some certainty in this system? I can talk like a gangster because it has nothing to do with me, but the work that other people have done. So, are you ready to take action? I'm so excited and honored to let you know that I am putting together a live course experience. I am showing up live to coach people through a new sales system that took me 9 years. So in 8 weeks, I'm going to give you the templates. In 8 weeks, I'm going to give you the email funnels. In 8 weeks, I'm going to give you my masterclass template on how to show up. In 8 weeks, I'm going to give you my social media promotion. In 8 weeks, I'm going to tell you how to show up without any stress or launch, what to do, how to do it. And we get to do it with a group of people because I know you're tired of super stressful moments. I know the endless worries that you're like, I'm going to try something new and I'm going to get the same results. But what would you feel like if you're like, why not try something in 8 weeks to see if I can learn what I need to learn to get an entirely different deal flow? So in 8 weeks, what we get to try together is number one, your successful messaging framework. I want you to know who you're speaking to, what they want, and the struggles. And then you're empowered to speak to that because on every social media post, on every newsletter, on every blog post, on every advertisement, they're going to read something and they're going to say, this is for me. In week 2, we're going to define your high value masterclass. In this program, we're going to start working. What kind of trainings should you be putting out? How do you stick out from your competition? What are the lightning bolts that need to fire and somebody say, wow, I actually want to watch this for 15 minutes, learn something, and then buy. You're going to get very clear because our template system is the thing that's going to make it easier and less intimidating. So when you invest in your biggest launch ever, you get to get a masterclass template. What I have spent years and thousands of dollars on creating, it's included. So you don't have to get stressed out. In week 3, we're going to talk about the copy that goes on your website. How do you have profitable copy? Get clear on these messages. Get a blueprint. Get templates. In fact, this is my trusted sales page copy template. This is your header. 3 bullet points, exactly what you need to know, and it is included in your biggest launch ever. When people get very intimidated writing emails and they're just like, I feel like this is so hard to do. What if I told you all you need for a launch is 5 types of emails? But then what if I gave you my proven email templates to say, this is the base work. No more guessing on the emails like, when do I send them? What do I say in them? How do I actually do it? I have spent tens of thousands of dollars and they're included in this for you, complimentary. In week 5, this is my wheelhouse, creating social media content. What if I told you that I batch all of my content before the launch? What if I have a clear plan? What if I gave you a plug and play social media marketing template with a calendar? This is when you go live. This is when you post. This is the carousel, so that you're just like, hey, listen, I just don't even have time or bandwidth, and now it's yours. In week 6, we talk about creating bonuses that overcome objections. What would stop somebody from using your graphic design services, booking your photography, booking you as a coach? Let's create bonuses for that. In week 7, this is where we execute your most successful launch week. I have to tell you that this template, this framework, I adopted my daughter in 2020. I had 24 hours notice to get to Las Vegas and adopt her. We were in the middle of a launch. But because I had this whole system set up, I was able to become a mom. I was able to adopt. I was able to have one of the biggest launches we've ever had. And in week 8, we have creating captivating ads. If you want to create ads, I will give you the framework for that. So it took me 9 years and well over $100,000 with everything that I was learning. And you could do the same without the trial and error, without investing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars, because your biggest launch ever is at its debut, the lowest it will only and ever be. For $1,999, you can join us. You can get more information at showit.com/biggest launch. Now we're going to get into Q&A right about now. This is where like the fire really happens. But when you invest in the full pay at $1,999, you're going to get a ticket to a virtual summit. Because once you start launching, you're like, I need to get more visibility. I need to build more brand authority. How do I get more eyes on my business? This virtual summit is with Amy Porterfield, Julie Solomon, and Rory Vaden. It is a full day on saying your visibility is going to skyrocket, and that is yours. Now, I know that people are like, Jasmine, you talked about an email newsletter. I need to get more. I don't. Amy Porterfield is providing a training that costs $397 and it's included. If you're saying, listen, I barely have enough time as it is, I don't have enough time to create content for my launch. Ashlyn Carter, very well beloved in the Showit community, created a training for $497 that's included in this, and how to write launch copy with AI. So you will use our email templates, you will use the prompts in AI and get your email funnel written. Maybe you're like, Jasmine, you talk about these trainings, I could never be on camera. Well, what if you had a training that will teach you how to talk live or how to create something recorded? Zaylee Barclay, she's beloved in the Showit community as well and has spoken at many conferences within the community. She created a training for $597 and it's yours included. I know you might feel intimidated when it comes to creating ads. If that is what you want to pursue, I can get you Tony, who I work very closely with on a beginner ad setup for advanced results. That training is $497 and it's yours. If you feel intimidated with the tech setup and you're like, Showit customer support is bar none. If I don't have Showit customer support, then nobody else compares. Well, what if I told you we have a partnership with ConvertKit? They made custom trainings. They made email automations so that your email funnel is done. You just drop your copy in and then you're set to go. Now, if you don't have ConvertKit, don't worry. These trainings are going to teach you how to tag and how to build things appropriately. But ConvertKit also gave a 30-day free trial. You could just build the template and see how it works for you. So when we talk about everything that is included in this live course, I get paid $10,000 to do virtual trainings for organizations. I'm going to be doing 2 live trainings a week on the inside. I want this to be a coaching experience unrivaled. You're going to see other business owners ask powerful questions that helps you get stronger faster. So if we were to add everything that is included in this course, we get well over $80,000 of resources, of templates, of done for you, of making sure that you can execute, and you get all of it for $1,999. We also include a payment plan. And with this payment plan, you get to have lifetime access to these trainings. So even if you're not launching right now and you want to launch in the future and you want to know how to build it out, we're ready for you. So as we get into Q&A, I want us to go in with this as a reminder. You have a choice. You can be an observer, write these notes and say, one day, I'm going to change my website so that it's sales optimized. And one day or you can take an action taker and get results. And you can get results in 8 weeks of learning and knowing what to do. So I want to know, are you an action taker or are you an observer today? The doors for this promotion close Tuesday, March 5th. Please get more information at showit.com/biggest launch. You know, I started this conversation talking to you about my mom on a hospital bed on New Year's Eve. And she said, I didn't fly first class. I never went to Austria, and I never wrote a children's book. I am here now telling you that my mom had a miraculous recovery from brain cancer, a walking miracle. She has since flown first class. She has visited Austria, and she is writing a book for my daughter, her granddaughter. One thing I want to remind everybody is that we live with regret of the things that we have done, and we live with the regret of the things we have not done. For once in your business career, can you say, I want to bet on myself so I don't live with the regret of not trying? Because the regret of not trying might be a little bit worse than the regret of not trying, not doing, not risking, not practicing, not showing up, not playing big, not being the person I want to be by being so concerned with everybody else's opinions. I don't want to regret not trying. That is a thing I want to go into with Q&A, and that is exactly where I want to be. I am so excited to bring Shamisha back up. We're going to have a power-packed Q&A. So I want to get this party started and I want to keep going. Shamisha, how can I best serve?
All right. So the chat was super active and that was so good. I'm like texting Todd right now, like, sign me up. What are we doing? We got a conference to launch. Let's go.
Tell him I'll give him a discount since I was the first website on Showit.
Okay. Awesome. All right, let's go. So first question is from Ellie. She's asking, how would this work for an evergreen membership?
Oh, this is fantastic. So I can speak with clarity around this because we have an evergreen masterclass for Social Curator. And so it's the same mechanism. Basically, we don't call it evergreen because most of our customers are not waking up in the morning and saying, oh, I need evergreen. What we call it is on demand. And so people now know on demand, like because of Netflix and Hulu. So we might have like a blog post, or we might send a newsletter and be like, we have an on-demand class on, and then I talk about the class. Now, at Social Curator, we provide social media marketing and strategy and things of that nature. But I don't say, come to this masterclass to learn about marketing strategy. What I'm saying is, I know you feel overwhelmed with marketing online. This training will break down 5 easy steps for you to do that. What am I doing is I'm creating a piece of education that builds familiarity, a conversion, and then we will have a funnel that leads us into what they want, what the membership wants to do. Some people will say, come here to buy. Some people say, set up a 15-minute call. Some people say they have a different mechanism, email us. But at the end of the day, you can have a recorded training. But the key here is to have that automated systematic follow-up. The key here is to understand that the brand messaging is the same across the board. The key thing to remember is that your website has to be a division of what you're teaching. Everything is a whole that leads to the sales mechanism.
Makes sense. Awesome. Ellie, hopefully that answered your question. All right. So we've had some questions on like pricing your course or launch. And someone asks, is like starting out, is $197 the like magic number, or can you go a little bit into like maybe pricing your first launch, even if you don't have an email list or whatever that looks like?
I feel so excited because I remember having conversations very early in my photography career with Todd, of all people, talking, how do I price myself as a photographer? And then when I started creating courses, how do I price the course? How do I price these video downloads that I was creating? And what I will say is that there isn't a magic number. What I believe is there is a magic trajectory. This is what I'm saying. When I sold items for $2.99, I then sold items for $12.99, PDF and resources. And then I later added email templates for photographers for $19.99. And then I self-published a magazine for $29.99. So all of a sudden, when you have a very small pocket of people who've invested a little bit of money and then you surprise and delight them, you overdo your level of service. And they're like, wow, I got all of this for $12.99. By the time I made the offer for $197, there was enough people who spent a little bit of money to say, if I invest in that, she's going to deliver. Damn. So I don't think that 197 is the magic number. I do think that the more people that you have with lower ticket items, and I also think it's less intimidating. People get very nervous, like, I'm going to do a $200 course, and it's got to be the best course that's ever hit the world. Well, what would it look like for you to create a $49 course? And then you get to test it, and then you get to see. And the people who spent $49 might be able to spend $97. And then after $97, they might be able to spend $147. I have to tell you, Shamisha, that we just opened the doors to your biggest launch ever. This is the first time that we have ever launched this. Mm-hmm. This is the first time I have ever put out an offer for $1,999. There's a person who's watching this saying $199 for a course. And likewise, I am saying $1,999 for a course. Yep. The people who have invested, many of them, I would venture to say half of them, have bought a previous course for $197. Okay. And they said, I got so much from that course that I can't wait to see what I get from the $2,000 course. And so I don't think there's a magic number. I do think that there is, when you build out the vision of your future, there is a way to build stacking belief. Now, if you believe that your audience is ready for a 197 offer, heck yes, all day, every day, let's go. But I don't think that's like the magic. This is where you try it. No.
Okay, there you go. Hopefully that answered your guys' question. Awesome. So we have a question from Elizabeth, and she says, When you launched your course and you made 255,000, did you have an email list already?
Yes.
Okay.
I did have an email list, but I want to have a caveat here is I'm so happy she didn't say, did you have a big email list? Because any size email list is a starting point. If you have 2 people, 200, 2,000, or 200,000. Because what I discovered is that the size of my newsletter list now became big because I was launching. If you don't have a big newsletter list, it's probably because you haven't launched.
Mm-hmm.
So right now, what you'll see on my Instagram is I'm saying, hey, you should sign up for a free course, a free training. So how do they sign up? With their email. When I have their email, the vast majority of people who are coming to the training, maybe they buy, maybe they don't. But what I'm looking at that is I'm growing my newsletter list so I can cultivate that ongoing communication so that if they're not ready to buy now, I can make a different offer in the future. I can make the same offer, but over time become more and more of a trusted resource for them, then they buy.
Okay. That makes sense. Great. Let's see. So we have a question and she's asking, do you need a lot of tech to build these courses and get launched, or can you start with something more simple?
I believe that simple is best. Okay. Like I have always believed that simple is best. In fact, tomorrow I am sending an email to people who signed up for my live training. And instead of putting it out on like a very fancy PDF, I'm linking it to a Google Doc. Like you have questions, you can come here and read it. And what I want to do is before I design a very fancy PDF, I want to see, is it resonating with people? What's happening to it? Like, remember that conversation I said I wanted a membership and I talked to Todd? Todd was the person who says, it's just an idea. Just start scrappy. Keep it as simple as possible. And that has become foundational to how I approach. So if you're saying, oh, I want to launch a course and I've never launched it, well, no problem. But please don't get the Cadillac resources of courses, like what a course tech. And that's why on the inside, we were partnering with ConvertKit because I said, hey, I talked to the CEO. His name is Nathan Barry. I said, so many people have a digital product, but the idea of creating an action-based email funnel is like so crazy to them and it's so much work. And I said, can I give you our proven funnel? Can you create a custom flow on that? And any of our ConvertKit users who are investing in this course, they just get to plug and play. And he said, yeah, I'll do it. And so do you need big time tech? No. Anything that is complicated, we have included a done with for-ish option for you. You have to plug in your own work, but it's done for you.
Okay, great. Let's see. We'll do 2 more questions because there was just so many questions that were asked in the chat. And guys, if we don't get to your question, you can go to help@jasminestar.com, email them and ask your question, and they can definitely answer that for you. Or you can schedule also a 15-minute chat with the team member if you have any additional questions. But back to some of the questions that we have here. We had one from Dominic, is who are you launching to? So is it like your email list, your whoever you have on social media? Like, who are you speaking to?
In the beginning, which is why we start off with the key messaging framework. In the beginning, instead of looking at your newsletter or social media or advertising, you have to say, who am I selling to? And then you get very specific. So Dominic, let's say that you create photo albums. You're not just selling photo albums to anybody. Are you selling photo albums to brides primarily? To moms who want a digital resource for their kids that are quick and easy? To people who are buying Christmas gifts and you do like 80% of your sales during the holidays? When you know who you're selling to first, then you get to look and ask yourself, is my email newsletter best suited for this audience? Is my social media best suited for this audience? Now, when you're first beginning and you're just launching your very first offer, I suggest you actually probably don't know who's qualified to be in your audience. So why not try it? So Dominic, I would say every social platform and your newsletter, make an invitation for this training. And that gives you a good starting point. How many people responded? And of the people who responded, you start segmenting them in a list. So for instance, if you use ConvertKit, you'll be able to add a tag. This is my photography segment. This is my mom segment. This is my holiday buyer segment. And you get to speak to them a little bit differently. So in the beginning, when you're first starting, sure, First, who are you selling to? Then test the waters. But the more that you launch, the more specific that you can say, you know what? I don't need to really promote this on LinkedIn because my customer's just not there. I'm gonna focus all of my energy on Facebook groups or my newsletter or Instagram.
Okay. Great. Dominic, hopefully that answers your question. So we'll do one more question, which I feel like is a pretty good one. She's asking, what can you offer your email list besides giving something away for free?
What can you offer your, I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Let's see. What can we do to get more people on the email list? Okay, sorry, phrase that. To get more people on the email list besides giving away free stuff.
Well, okay, so I always say that I'm half holy and I'm half hood. So if you want the nice answer is be your magnetic self and have your exit URL go towards it because you're amazing. I believe that. I do. You might get a few people, but the hood side is, I'm going to say it exactly as I see it. Very few people are in it and of themselves interesting by themselves. There is a natural exchange that happens, and the exchange is not a vehicle for anything else but to build trust. I don't look, every time I create a free resource or I do a free training, I don't look at, I'm giving you something for free. I'm looking at this as, if the answer's, I never believe the answer is no, Shamisha. I believe that the answer is not right now. And so if I am giving you something for free, a PDF, a free video, a free training, a free boot camp, this free training on Showit, I'm not giving you anything. I'm saying, hello, my name is Jasmine Star. And if you want to rock your world on business and show up as the next best version of yourself, you're going to go to showit.com/biggest launch. And if the answer is no, not right now, I'm just going to say it's just a matter of time. But if you want to build your newsletter list, you have to first build trust. So the hood answer is the effort that you put in to cultivate that relationship is a direct result of what you get on the back end. 50-50. I hope that was okay. We ended it like there. People are like, oh my God, what is wrong with her? Listen,
no, that's great.
I am live, y'all. I'm here live. Let's go.
That's great. That's great. So that's all the time we have for questions today. Once again, you guys can reach out to the Social Curator team or help@jasminestar.com, and they'd love to answer any questions you guys have. Jasmine, is there any other things you want to say about the biggest launch ever? Carts open until the 5th. So you better run over there.
Yes, okay. Showit.com/biggest launch ever. The doors close Tuesday, March 5th at 5 p.m. But one thing before we go, you came to this training and it wasn't luck and it wasn't happenstance. There was something that you saw that resonated deeply within you. I have come to believe that we just don't get ideas planted in our mind or in our heart without this sheer belief that we think it's possible. You came to this training because you deeply believe that you can increase your revenue. But at this point in how you don't know the next best step. I want to remind you that you wouldn't be given an idea or calling if the capacity inside of you didn't exist for you to achieve it. And so if you invest or you don't invest, I want you to know that this training is a reminder that you're enough, that you're doing the best you can with what you have. I want to say thank you so much to Showit. I want to say thank you to Todd Watson. Shamisha, thank you for showing up and being a beautiful representation of humanity and supporting other entrepreneurs. I just appreciate you guys so much.
Thank you. All right. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time.